So all we want to do now is to make it, this is like pretty much the last set of steps to make it what would be a final product. Obviously, graphically, it's not really anywhere near, but to make it work in principle like a test file. So you've got the basics there. And what we need to do is to then have another scene, and we want to progress through the scenes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate, actually, before I duplicate it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stop at the first line. Because as soon as we start using multiple scenes, what it'll do is it'll play through the scenes, so you get all your sounds playing, the code will get all gobbledygooked, a bit like Ben was experiencing before. So with that stop, it will stay on this frame 1 of scene 1. I'm then going to open up my scene inspector. So window and look for scene. I like to pin this next to library, to be honest. I'm just going to close that down. If you double click on scene 1, so window and then scene, Bradley. I'll put the top here, window and scene. There you go. Okay, if you double click on the word scene 1, and we will just call that lion. At the very bottom of the scene inspector, you will see a duplicate icon. It's the middle one, looks like 2 pieces of paper. I'm going to duplicate that one, and then I'm going to call lion copy frog, maybe. I mean, it depends on the names of what you're using in your free answers. Now, that would immediately cause problems with the code. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you back to Lion. We're going to make that work and then show you the problems that you will face if you don't make the right steps. So, click on Lion. It puts us in the Lion scene. In the code, what we're going to do is, instead of having trace correct, we want to go to the next scene in response to getting the answer correct. And that is actually really easy. You just put in the word next scene, bracket, bracket, and it will take you to the very next scene when you get that right. So if I test that, what I'm expecting is it will take me to the next scene. It will then give me a load of errors because I've got variables that exist already that I'm redeclaring, a few things like that. So control and enter, and it gives me loads and loads and loads of errors to do with namespace clashes because I've declared variables already. So I'm going to go back to the code actions, and you'll see it says lion, says frog. Lion stays the same, but in the frog one, I click on actions, and there are some things I need to not do. I do not need to import this line, delete. I do not need to declare these variables, they already exist. I do not need to declare the answer, but I do need to change its value. So I delete var, and I change that to frog. I don't need to declare the responses because they've already been declared, I think. Could be wrong. So delete that. I don't need new raw. I need new ribbit, which is a frog and new frog and new frog. I don't need to declare the function check response, but I do need to leave the event listeners in. So that's where we should be in the second scene. If I just test this first, okay, it's telling me off. Need to get rid of that bit there. Test again. Undefined property new frog. That's because I called it new ribbit. Okay, lion plays. Click on lion, right answer. Frog sound. Click on frog. It'll tell me incorrect. Right, so there's a few little bits that I need to sort out there. Telling me incorrect because changed answer to frog. That should, in theory, work. So in which case we go back to our actions on the first scene, and just inside that function we trace out answer, see what it's doing. Lion's the answer, it worked. If I click on frog, it's saying frog, but it's saying incorrect. Indeed. Right. Let's get you to this point here first. So that's what your second scene needs to look like. And I'll just pause it while I fix that last bit. For you, 3, 4, you're pretty much done now for the morning. So the solution was to put these 3 lines back in because it wasn't checking the answer correctly. That will then work. Click on lion, works. Click on frog, works. Takes me back to lion. There's a few, it's rough around the edges. Then, this is why I didn't copy it twice. I will duplicate the frog scene and not the first scene, because then I don't have to go through all those errors that I had before. Let's duplicate that, call that fox, and then in actions, just change the answer and the sound that's being played. And it is working, but the fox is quite quiet. And so that brings us on to the final part, which we'll move on to in the next video, which is where we sort out the sounds so we can stop the sounds. But essentially, the whole thing works. That is your first app. So I'll just stop the video there.